You spend roughly 2,000 hours every year inside a highly artificial environment, sitting a few feet away from people you did not organically choose to be around. The modern office is a marvel of forced proximity. The dynamic here is nearly identical to sitting next to a stranger on a cross-country flight. You are locked in, elbow to elbow at cruising altitude, requiring the immediate creation of a single-serving friend. Establishing rapport with these temporary work besties acts as a survival tactic, providing the social lubrication needed to navigate the daily 9-to-5 grind. Making it to Friday with your sanity intact relies entirely on mastering the very delicate, highly specific parameters of this temporary social contract. Humans are biologically wired to share details about our lives. Dropping bits of personal information is a subconscious reflex we use to signal safety, to build trust, and accelerate bonding. But a corporation is not a tribe, and it is certainly not your standard social circle. It operates as a strict professional hierarchy based on perceived competence. Here is where the tension lies. Cross the invisible boundary from friendly colleague into unprofessional confidant, and you alter the way leadership and peers weigh your professional judgment. A single poorly timed anecdote can linger, coloring your reputation in ways that are difficult to undo. When a colleague hears a story suggesting a lack of discretion, that specific piece of data sticks, even if your work output remains high. Navigating your cubicle neighbors is not a passive social experience. It is an active, high-stakes calculation of risk and reward. Let's test your radar for that exact boundary. We are going to run a quick behavioral pop quiz to see if you can locate the exact threshold where building social capital turns into destroying it. Look at this spectrum graph. On the left, we have complete robotic isolation. On the right, catastrophic oversharing. I'm going to give you two escalating scenarios, and your job is to pinpoint exactly where the boundary is violated. Finding this exact invisible line is the real-time behavioral experiment you run every single time you walk to the water cooler. Scenario A. You are pouring a coffee. Your coworker walks up and speaks at lengths about buying a new DSLR camera. They detail the lenses they researched, the prices they compared, and their upcoming landscape photography trip. Does this conversation pass the boundary stress test? Yes, this is a safe and effective method of building office rapport. This Venn diagram maps out why it works. The space where personal passions meets neutral office topics is a safe zone known as curated vulnerability. Your coworker successfully signals their personality without placing any emotional weight on you, the listener. Curated vulnerability secures the single-serving friend connection while keeping the professional hierarchy entirely clean and intact. And now, scenario B, the conversational pivot. That exact same coworker finishes talking about camera lenses, leans in, and suddenly begins detailing their recent, highly active bout of gastrointestinal distress. Your gross overshare alarm is ringing instantly. But why, exactly? What is the specific structural failure here? The core psychological violation here is non-consensual intimacy. This is the uninvited offloading of physical details or emotional trauma onto a captive audience. This pivot hits two tripwires at once. It triggers basic biological disgust responses, while simultaneously driving a bulldozer through the established boundaries of the workplace environment. It creates a massive behavioral trap. You, the listener, are now pinned in an incredibly uncomfortable social position. You cannot easily escape or shut the conversation down without appearing openly uncooperative. This specific tier of oversharing shatters the single-serving friend contract. It replaces friendly camaraderie with a conversational hostage situation. The results of the quiz show us something vital. There is an objective, measurable line separating appropriate daily connection from inappropriate physical or emotional dumping. But here is a common trap. Enforcing strict professional boundaries does not require you to act cold, robotic, or antisocial toward people sitting next to you. True workplace survival requires one skill: hyper-awareness of your context and your audience at all times. You should actively embrace the single-serving friend dynamic. Keep your morning interactions warm, engaging, and concentrated on safe, curated topics. Talk about the camera. Looking back at our spectrum graph, your goal is to consciously construct a professional firewall right in the middle of this line. This barrier protects your own career trajectory, and equally importantly, it protects your colleagues' daily comfort. To maintain this, adopt a strict categorization system for your life. Medical details, heavy emotional processing, and deeply personal grievances must be isolated exclusively for your doctors and your lifelong friends outside the building. Refining the bounded bestie dynamic, learning exactly what to disclose and what to keep private, is how you maintain influence while protecting your career trajectory and your workplace relationships.